blood group system, starting with the I blood group system for today. So last week, we've already talked about the Lewis. Okay, and now we will talk about the I, the P, and the MNS blood group system. Okay, so the I blood group system is a unique system because the expression changes as the person matures. So unlike many other blood group, the I, capital I, and the small letter I are not product of individual alleles, but related to the structural complexity ng carbohydrate chain ng mga RBC surfaces. So when you say not related to specific alleles, hindi katulad, di ba, kapag ka Lewis, kailangan mo ng LE para magkaroon ka ng LEA. So enable for you to have LEB, you need another allele which is the SEG. Correct? So ang I blood group system, so from capital letter I, okay, at birth, small letter I at birth, nagiging capital letter I siya as the infant grows. So, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon po ng development, from small letter I to capital letter I as the person mature. So, yun po yung developmental process na nangyayari sa I blood group system. Okay? So, again, ang pinaka-striking feature ng system na to, yung transition ng small letter I to capital letter I. Understood? So, ibig sabihin, at birth, sa cord blood, anong makikita nating? Antigen. So, that would be the small letter I. I repeat, eto po muna, okay, small letter I na antigen, bago mag-develop into capital letter I na antigen as we mature. So by the way, etong I antigen is a linear carbohydrate chain. Linear carbohydrate chain. And then, eto namang capital letter I natin is a branched carbohydrate chain. So, ibig pong sabihin, nagbabago lang yung carbohydrate complexity or yung structural complexity ng carbohydrate chain para from small letter I maging capital letter I siya as we mature. Okay, so pag naging adult na yung patient by about 18 to 24 months of age, so that is approximately mga 2 years old na, yung linear na I antigen natin, linear chain, nagiging branch na siya. Naintindihan? Nagiging capital letter I na siya. Kaya meron na tayong capital letter I antigen. So, may reciprocity na nangyayari. Ano ibig sabihin ng reciprocity? Reciprocity, rather. As the I antigen strength increases. Ibig sabihin, kapag nag-increase na yung level ng capital letter I natin na antigen, yung small letter I na antigen natin decreases naman. Naintindihan? Okay. I repeat ha, ang I na small letter I is linear in terms of the structure. Kapag capital letter I, nagiging branch na po siya. Ito po, itong mga antigens na to, the small letter I and the capital letter I, they are not antithetical. Ano ibig sabihin ng not antithetical? Ibig sabihin po, in genetics, pag sinabi natin antithetical, it usually means they are produced by two different alleles. Nagkaiba lang yung capital I at small letter I natin by complexity of the carbohydrate chain. Malinaw po ba? So, ma'am, posible po ba na magkaroon tayo ng adult na small letter I? Is it possible? It is a rare occurrence. exemption siya dun sa developmental rule na sinasabi ko kanina. So ano yung naging cause? Bakit nagkaroon tayo ng adult na small letter I? So this is a genetic mutation. Genetic mutation siya na preventing the linear para maging branch. So ibig sabihin, supposedly, di ba, nagiging branch siya as we age. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nagiging branch yung linear na carbohydrate chain natin. Kaya yung small letter I na antigen natin, it will remain even though we are already adult. Naiintindihan po ba? Okay. So, ibig sabihin, even if the individual already reached the adulthood, their RBC will still look like an infant blood. Bakit? Because it is rich in the small letter I antigen. Malinaw? Okay. Now, etong mga individual na adult I, meron ba silang capability to produce the antibody against the capital I antigen? Yes. These individuals may produce anti-capital I. Remember our rule, no? The concept is, kung wala kanyang antigen na yan, magde-develop ka nung ibang antibodies. Correct? So, ibig sabihin, kung wala kang capital letter I na antigen, magde-develop ka ngayon ng capital letter I na antibody. So, this will be problematic, no? Especially kapag nag-blood transfusion tayo. Bakit? Kasi in a normal individual, okay, dapat walang capital na anti-I. Do you understand? Bakit? Kasi as we age, normally, ano dapat ang I antigen natin? Dapat capital I antigen. Clear po ba yun? Okay, now, for the laboratory characteristic, we can enhance the activity of the I and capital I and small letter I antigen, no, with corresponding treatment with Ficin and papain. But you have to remember na meron silang resistance to DTT. DTT is dithiotritol, remember? And glycine EDTA, no? Which can help us rule out ano yung blood group na present doon sa specimen natin. Okay? Kasi may iba pang mga characteristics katulad sa Lewis, di ba? They are resistant to all. Correct? Ito naman, resistant lang kay Ficin at papain. Resistant kay DTT or dithiotritol and glycine, but they can be enhanced by Ficin and papain. Understood? Okay, now, let's move on to the antigens. Okay, so again, dalawa yung antigens natin sa I blood group system, capital I and small letter I. So, these antigens are widespread throughout our body. So, hindi lang sila nakikita sa RBC, pero yung presence nila, makikita din natin sa mga white blood cells and platelets. Okay? And also, they can be detected in various body fluids, including milk, amniotic fluid, saliva, urine, and ovarian cyst fluid. Okay? And then, I repeat lang, ulitin ko lang, no? Ang transition natin is from small letter I, ibig sabihin, in yung mga infant below 2 years old, is rich in I antigen. So, yung blood nila is rich in small letter I antigens. While yung capital letter I, at that time, hindi pa po natin madedetect. So, kailan natin madedetect? 18 to 24 months after birth. So, upon mga 2 years old na, no? Ma-express na natin, mako-convert na natin yung small letter I to capital letter I, slowly. Naintindihan po? Okay, so ibig sabihin sa adult blood, mas mataas ang capital letter I na antigen. Konti na lang. Hindi doesn't necessarily mean na wala na yung small letter I pag adult tayo, ha? Meron pa rin, but in a small or trace amount only. Understood? Okay, next. So, for the treatment, so na-mention ko na to kanina, yung physine and papain, di ba? Their activity could be enhanced, but not by dithiotritol and glycine eta. So there are two blood groups that are affected by the enzymes physine, okay? Not only the eye, but also the feet. Understood? So, ang DAFI naman, magiging topic naman natin yan the following meeting. Okay? Next. So, let's move on to the IT antigen. Ano naman yung IT? Ang ibig pong sabihin ng T dyan ay transitional. Okay? Transitional. So, the transitional antigen, this is the intermediate stage of carbohydrate chain development. Ibig sabihin po, yan po yung from small letter I to capital letter I. So, it does not demonstrate the classical property of your capital I and small letter I, but it only acts as a transition state between the small I and the capital I. So, saan ba natin nakikita usually ang prevalence nitong I superscript T sa mga Melanesian, okay, and Yanomama Indians ng Venezuela. Okay? Next. So, let's move on now to the antibodies. So, the anti-I, capital I. Okay. So, this is a common finding sa mga blood na or plasma natin, and it is a cold reacting auto antibody. I repeat, cold. Bakit cold? Kasi nagre-require ng 4 degrees Celsius. Okay? And it is an auto antibody that is found sa lahat ng sira. So, auto antibody, ang optimal detection, kaya nga tinawag natin cold, is at 4 degrees Celsius. And ang treatment, saan nga siya susceptible? Sa physine and papain. Similar dun sa mga antigen na e-enhance natin yung reactivity nila using these enzymes. Understood? Okay, so it will demonstrate a strong agglutination with adult RBC. But show weak or no agglutination sa cord blood or infant blood. O kaya naman sa mga adult eye. Bakit? Kasi nga, di ba, pagka adult tayo, ano bang meron tayo? I antigen. So kung magdadagdag ka ng anti-capital letter I, so adult, capital letter I, ang meron tayo. So kung magdadagdag tayo ng anti-capital letter I, magre-react talaga siya. Naintindihan? Sa adult, kasi meron tayong I, capital I antigen. So, sa cord at saka sa adult I, no? Dito naman, ang madami kasi dito ay yung ating small letter I na antigen at kokonti pa lang or undetectable. So, undetectable pa yung capital I antigen. So, wala po halos magre-react, no, sa ating cord or adult small letter I na RBC. I hope you understand that. Okay. Now, we also have an auto anti-I, which is called benign. So, frequently found din ito sa mga serum ng healthy individual, but this will not cause RBC reaction. Okay, this will not cause RBC destruction. So, this is only characterized by weak, naturally occurring saline reactive or IgM with titer less than 64, no, at 4 degrees Celsius. So, ma-identify natin, ma-enhance natin yung identification nito kapag in-incubate natin siya in a cold temperature. Okay, next. So, let's move on to the pathogenic anti-capital I. So, unlike the benign autoantibody, the pathogenic form is more aggressive sa laboratory testing. So, ang thermal range po nito, this is a strong cold agglutinin, okay, a strong cold agglutinin, which will react at a wide range of temperature. So, ibig sabihin, from 0 to 32 degrees Celsius. So, ang reactivity po nito, parehas sa adult at cord RBC. Okay? I repeat, ang reactivity po nito will be both adult and cord RBC equally well at room at 4 degrees Celsius. Hindi katulad kanina nung auto-anti-I natin. Naalala? Sa cold temperature lang siya. And nagre-react lang siya sa adult. On the other hand, ang pathogenic anti-I, parehas nagre-react sa parehas na temperature, whether room or 4 degrees Celsius, and will react both sa RBC ng adult, pati na rin ng infant. Okay? So when you say cord RBC, galing po yan sa mga infants. Naintindihan? Okay. So, yung specificity, pwede yung mamask unless the serum is diluted or iwa-warm natin to 30 to 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, what are the clinical association? So, this is associated with patients na may Mycoplasma pneumoniae. So, yung patient with this infection often develops strong cold agglutinins with auto-anti-I specificity. Okay? And then you may have false result. Okay? Halimbawa, yung medtech, meron yung mga medical technologists, kailangan maging cautious sila kasi itong strong anti-I can mimic allo-anti-I. Capital, parehas yun na I ha. Kapag excessive kasi yung auto-antibody and binds with complement, they can block the antigenic sites that will cause a false type I negative result. Okay? So, ito po yung sinasabi ko. Okay. And then, yung hindi po ito associated sa HDFN. Ano yung HDFN? Hemolytic disease of the fetus and the newborn. So, bakit? Because this is an IgM. So, and IgM is big. Ibig sabihin, pentamer po siya, hindi po ba? Hindi po siya papasok sa placenta. So, therefore, hindi magkukos ng hemolytic disease of the fetus and the newborn. And the I antigen is poorly expressed pa sa mga infant RBC. So, definitely, it will not cause your HDFN. Okay? Next. Let's talk about the antibodies to small I, anti-small I. So unlike the anti-capital I, which is commonly found sa mga healthy adults, ang anti-small I naman is typically associated sa mga specific underlying medical condition, katulad ng infectious mononucleosis, cirrhosis, and leukemia. So ang small letter or ang auto or ang anti-small letter I is an IgM. So also reacting optimally at a low temperature, cold temperature, 4 degrees Celsius. So this is an IgM antibody. Okay, it reacts best with saline suspended cells. So crucially, it is not seen as a common antibody sa mga healthy individual. Okay, hindi siya common. So, meron din tayong IgG na anti-small I. Ito po, these are IgG in nature, okay, and has been described and associated with HDFN. Associated siya with hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. Understood? Okay, now, let's move on to the disease association. So, certain infections are classically associated with the development of the transient clothed agglutinin, katulad ng anti-capital I. So frequently associated siya sa mga cold agglutinin syndrome, and as we've mentioned earlier, sa Mycoplasma pneumoniae. And Mycoplasma pneumoniae, if you remember, this is the causative agent of atypical pneumonia. Okay, atypical pneumonia. And then yung anti-small I, classically associated with infectious mononucleosis. Ano naman ang cause? If you remember, sa virology ninyo, your EBV, Epstein-Barr virus. Okay? Also, there is an increase if there is an increase in the expression of a small letter I antigen in adult, okay, in adult, which is normally found supposedly in trace amount lang. Di ba? Kasi dapat pag adult, capital I na. So paano kung mataas ang small letter I in adult? So it is often a marker, okay? Marker of shortened marrow maturation time, okay? Or this erythropoiesis. Okay? So this condition is associated with the increase of acute leukemia, chronic hemolytic anemia. Okay? May iba pang mga anemia katulad ng hypoplastic, megaloblastic, sideroblastic anemia. Okay? Hemoglobinopathy such as thalassemia, sickle cell disease, or PNH. Then, meron pa po yung HEMPAS na tinatawag, that is hereditary erythroblastic multinuclearity with positive acidified serum test. So, rare condition yan where your RBC will show unique reactivity patterns. So, these cells exhibit greater small I RBC activity, okay, than even control cord blood. So they are highly susceptible by lysis, no, by both the anti-small I and anti-capital I. So there also will be lysis by anti-capital I in this patient that is caused by the increased antibody uptake and increased sensitivity to complement. And then sa mga rare phenotype, no, katulad sa mga Asians, guys, meron tayong adult eye phenotype. So, associated naman yan sa mga congenital cataracts. Okay? So, let us now move on to the P. Okay? P blood group system. So, in the P blood group system, there are two biosynthetic pathways. Okay? So, because your P system, no, is also unique. So, ito po yung dalawang biosynthetic pathway natin. We have the P1PK and the globoside pathway. Sa P1PK pathway, these are producing the P1 and the PK antigen. Sa globoside pathway naman, this pathway will produce the P antigen, okay, which is ang number niyan sa ISBT natin is 028. Okay, and also the LUC and the PKZ antigen. So numbered naman yan sa ISBT natin as 029. Okay, so history lang tayo. Ang P blood group system was first discovered in 1927 by Landsteiner and Levine. So let's talk about the antibodies. So these are the antibodies. Let's start with the anti-P1. So anti-P1 is common, typically benign. Okay, benign antibody that is found in our serum. So, ibig pong sabihin, kung meron kang anti-P1, wala ka supposedly na P1 antigen. Remember? Okay, now, so for the class, it is a naturally occurring IgM. Ang optimal reactivity nito is, of course, cold at 4 degrees Celsius. So, ibig sabihin, hindi natin to usually nakikita sa routine testing kasi ang routine testing natin, kinakonduct natin at room temperature. Right? Then, anti-P1 can be neutralized by This can be neutralized by or inhibited by soluble P1 substance. Pwede rin siyang ma-enhance yung reactivity niya if suspended, no? And identification can be improved by incubating the test at room temperature or lower. Or pwede nating i-pretreat sa mga reagent cells na may enzymes. Okay? And then, for the clinical significance, so anti-P is classically related to fascioliasis and notably discovered sa mga patient na infected sa parasite na Echinococcus granulosus. Ito po ay hydatid cyst disease. Okay? And then, hindi siya associated sa HDFN. Bakit hindi associated sa HDFN? Kasi nga po, P1 antigen is poorly developed on fetal red blood cells. So, hindi siya associated sa HDFN or hemolytic disease of fetus and newborn. Again, because the antigen P1 is poorly developed on fetal red blood cells. Okay? Next, let's proceed to another antibody, which is your anti-PP1-PK. So, potent antibody po ito. So, ibig pong sabihin, pag sinabi natin potent, meron po itong mga reactions. Okay, so this is associated with a rare, no, P phenotype, small p. With P, rare P phenotype. And this is otherwise known as the penal phenotype. Okay, within the P blood group system. So, ang discovery po nito, this was first described in 1951 in the serum of Mrs. J. So, this is a P individual who had adenocarcinoma ng stomach. So, this antibody was formerly known as the anti-TJA. Yung T dito sa TJA is referring to the tumor, as the tumor cells were found not to carry the P antigen. So for the production, this is produced early in the life of P individuals, small P individuals, okay, without the need for prior red blood cell sensitization. So it reacts with all RBCs, okay, except sa mga rare na small p phenotype. So ang composition po nito, predominantly ano sila? IgM. So ibig sabihin, kung IgM may ability to bind with complement. So in the laboratory setting, pwede itong mag-demonstrate ng in vitro hemolysis. Separation, anti-P and anti-P1 components of the anti-PP1-PK can be separated through adsorption. So this antibody is clinically dangerous. Sabi ko nga kanina, potent, di ba? Kasi meron siyang mga significant implication pagka may blood transfusion and even during pregnancy. So unahin natin yung transfusion reaction. So it has a potential ability to cause severe hemolytic transfusion. Again, hemolytic transfusion. HTR po yun. Hemolytic transfusion reaction. And then, pwede rin itong mag-cause ng HDFN, hemolytic disease of the newborn. So sa mga pregnant women, this can cause spontaneous abortion. So during pregnancy, pwede po yan mag-cause ng spontaneous abortion. So, bakit? Because the IgG, anti-P, is linked to spontaneous abortion during early pregnancy. Okay? Yung IgG na anti-capital P. So for the treatment, anong ginagawa natin? So yung mga women with anti-capital P and women with anti-PP1-PK who have a history of multiple abortion, no, na successfully nakapag-deliver ng infant after receiving multiple plasmapheresis treatment para ma-reduce natin yung antibody level during pregnancy. Okay? So next, let's proceed to your allo anti-capital P. So this is a specific component as well of the anti-PP1-PK, okay? And found in individual with phenotype na small letter P. So, ganun pa rin guys ang concept natin. Kung wala ka nitong antigen na to, magde-develop ka ng opposite na antibody. So, ibig sabihin, sa small p individuals natin makikita itong capital P na antibody. Understood? So, these are capable of reacting to all red blood cells, Exemption, hindi siya nagre-react sa patient's own cell or yung tinatawag natin na autocontrol or with cells na merong small p na phenotype. Okay? So, yung PK distinction, this is the key difference na hindi siya nagre-react sa mga cells carrying the extremely rare na PK phenotype. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung individual na nagpo-produce nitong ganitong antibody can be typed still as P1 positive. So, in the laboratory setting, this is hemolytic at a wide thermal range, meaning magre-react po ito parehas sa cold and even sa 37. Okay? Even sa room temperature. So, although allo anti-capital P is rarely encountered, its clinical impact is severe. So, ibig sabihin, sa transfusion, very significant. Okay? Ang presence ng allo anti-P. Okay? Kaya kailangan compatible yung blood kapag merong transfusion. So sa pregnancy naman, the IgG class of the anti-capital P is specifically associated sa habitual early abortion, spontaneous pregnancy loss. Naintindihan? Okay, next, let's move on to your auto anti-P associated with paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria. So, auto-anti-capital P is famously known as, nandito ba? Ayan, Donat-Landsteiner antibody. It is distinct from most other antibody ng T system because of its biphasic nature. Ano ibig sabihin ng biphasic nature? Nagre-require siya ng dalawang temperature. Phase 1 natin is cold. Okay? Phase 1 natin is cold. Phase 2 natin yung warm. So, ibig kong sabihin, the antibody will bind to RBC in cold temperature and subsequently, mag-react din siya sa 37 kapag winarm na natin yung RBC. So, na-activate na yung complement cascade leading to in vitro RBC lysis. Okay? So, historically, no, these are seen in patients with tertiary syphilis. And sa ngayon, yung modern presentation nito, it's more commonly seen sa mga transient acute condition. Ano yung mga example ng transient acute condition? Kadalasan sa mga viral infection, particularly sa mga young children. Okay? acute condition due to viral infection of young children. So, for the antibody class, okay, it is cold reacting. So the T system antibodies that are IgM, so this autoantibody is cold reacting IgG. I repeat, cold reacting IgG, which is biphasic. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung pathogenicity niya is entirely dependent on complement activation during the warm phase, during the 37 degrees warming. Sa second phase po. Naintindihan? Okay. Next. So, let's move on to other antibodies. The anti-PK. These antibodies rarely found, no, in isolation, and it is almost always associated with other antibodies, okay, in the system. So this can be inhibited or neutralized by hydatid cyst fluid, which is very useful kapag nag-identify tayo ng presence ng anti-PK. And then another antibody is LUC. Bakit natin pinag-uusapan si LUC? Kasi nga doon sa second biosynthetic pathway, kasama si LUC doon. LUC antibody. So this is a unique serological finding. And ang clinical association nito, patients diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So individuals, makikita natin to sa mga individuals na may rare small p, okay, and PK phenotype. Okay? So ito yung mga tinatawag natin na LUC negative. So small p and PK phenotype are also known as LUC negative. Okay, so now let's move on to the antigen. Antigens naman tayo, we're done with the antibodies. So there are two primary phenotype na encountered sa general population. So we have the P1, okay, and the P2 phenotype. So the P1 phenotype, yung RBC, they carry the P1 antigens, okay, and the P antigens. Ito naman pala. P1, P, and trace amount of the PK. So, ibig sabihin, these cells will react with both the anti-P1 and anti-P. Clear? So, dahil meron sila nitong mga antigens na to, magre-react sila sa ganitong antibodies. Ma'am, bakit walang anti-PK? Kasi po, trace amount lang ng PK ang meron yung P1 phenotype. So by the way, the P1 antigens are poorly developed at birth, ha? Okay, next, the P2 phenotype naman, the RBCs carry the P antigen and trace amount of the PK. So ibig sabihin, walang P1. Okay, they lack the P1. So ibig sabihin, kanino sila magre-react? So the RBCs will now react with the anti-P, but will not react with anti-P1. Do you understand? Bakit hindi magre-react sa anti-P1? Kasi nga wala silang P1 antigen. Understood? So this individual, no, or yung mga individual na may ganitong phenotype can produce anti-P1. Bakit magpo-produce ng anti-P1? Kasi nga wala silang P1 antigen. Malinaw po. So if the cells are only tested for P1, ibig sabihin, ano ang phenotype? So that would be P1 positive or P1 negative. Okay, so if the cells are tested with anti-P1, they are labeled as P1 positive or P1 negative. So they should be only designated as P2 if P1 negative cells are confirmed reactive with anti-P. So meron tayong rare phenotypes. So this system include 3 rare phenotype, no? The small p phenotype, or again, yung tinatawag natin na P null, okay? P, null, meron tayong P1K phenotype, okay, and the P2K phenotype. So, tandaan, ang P-null, etong mga RBCs na to, walang none ha, walang kahit anong antigen. Walang P1, walang P, walang PK. Ibig pong sabihin, hindi sila magre-react kay anti-P1, kay anti-P, okay, or anti-PK. Kasi nga wala silang kahit anong antigen. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga antibodies nila. Right? The anti-P, P1, PK antibody. Clear? Yung P1K RBCs naman, they react with anti-P1. Okay? And anti-PK. Kasi meron silang P1 and PK. Pero hindi sila magre-react kay anti-P. Kasi yun yung antibody na meron sila. Next, P2K phenotype. So RBCs will only react with your anti-PK. They do not react with anti-P1 or P. Kasi nga ang meron lang sila na antigen ay PK. So guys, ganito po, no? Sa mga blood group system, ang technique para madali niyong matandaan yung mga reaction to memorize, ha? So ganito lang yung concept lagi. So halimbawa, kung ano yung antigen na meron ka, hindi ka magde-develop ng ganong antibody. Naintindihan? So, i-develop mo yung opposite nung meron ka. Clear? At kung anong antigen ang meron ka, pag ginamitan ka ng ganong serum for detection, dun ka magre-react. Kukuha? So, halimbawa, kung ang P1K, eto tayo, ang P1K may P1 at PK antigen, so dito ka magre-react na antibody. So you will react with anti-P1 and anti-PK, but you will not react with whatever antibody you have. So anti-capital T, you don't react with that kasi meron kanyang antibody na yan. Naiintindihan po ba yon? So, at first, very intimidating siya kasi react with ganito, react with ganyan. But then again, you have to remember the basic concepts. Clear? Para hindi po kayo nai-intimidate or nalilito dun sa mga reaction. Okay, so, let's move on to the genetics involving the P antigens. So, for the formation of the P antigen, it is driven by specific enzymes, katulad sa APO, katulad sa Lewis, no? And genes that are inherited independently. So, for the antigens to be synthesized, kailangan natin ng glycosyl transferases. Okay, glycosyl transferases. So, independent ang inheritance natin, ha? Ibig pong sabihin, meron tayong dalawang gene. The P1, PK gene and the P gene, they are inherited independently from one another. So, let's talk about the cellular distribution. Ang P1, capital P, and the PK are only found sa mga RBCs, lymphocytes, granulocytes, and monocyte. Ang P antigen, makikita natin specifically located sa platelets, epithelial cells, and fibroblasts. Okay, pag-usapan natin yung synthesis. Starting with the PK synthesis. Okay, PK synthesis. So, these are formed by the enzyme 4-alpha-galactosyl transferase. So, also known as the GB3 or the PK synthase enzyme. On the other hand, no, sa conversion to P, kailangan natin ng enzyme na B3-GAL-N-T1. So, kailangan natin ng enzyme na 3-beta-N-acetyl-galactosamine transferase. So, ang gene na nag-e-encode niyan is the B3-GAL-NT1 gene. Okay? So the enzyme 3-beta-N-acetyl-galactosamine transferase or the G4B synthase converts your PK to P. Naintindihan? Okay. So, adult RBCs carry significant higher density ng globocyte compared to the P1 antigen. So, ibig kong sabihin, sa adult RBC, merong at least 14 times 10 raised to 6 copies ng P. Okay? Globocyte is P, capital P. And then, approximately for P1 antigen naman, each adult RBC carries 5 times 10 raised to 5 copies. Okay. For the laboratory characteristic, so understanding how this antigen will react to chemicals, that's very important sa antibody identification. So in terms of resistance, they are resistant to proteolytic enzymes fisin and papain, even with dithiotritol, chloroquine, and glycine acid EDTA. Pero pwede silang ma-enhance, no? Pwede silang ma-enhance by antibody reactivity by enzyme-treated RBCs. Okay? Antibody reactivity greatly enhanced with enzyme-treated RBC. Okay? Next. So let's move on to your P1 antigen. So the P1 antigen follows a specific developmental timeline and varies across different populations. So pag-usapan natin yung early development, poorly expressed at birth. Okay? It typically takes 7 years for an individual to reach full expression level, 7 years. And then antigen strength is categorized as P1 strong, okay, or the P1 positive S, or P1 weak, or the P1 positive W. So, please note that Black individuals generally exhibit stronger expression of P1 compared to whites. So, the expression of the P1 can be suppressed by gene from other blood group system. So, katulad halimbawa ng Lutheran. Ang Lutheran system, okay, this is a rare dominant gene, okay, which is associated with the IN, okay, or the Lu type or the Lu A negative, B negative phenotype of the Lutheran blood group system. Pwede niyang ma-inhibit yung expression ng P1. Okay? Pwede niyang ma-inhibit yung expression ng P1. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga P1 individual na makaka-inherit ng ganitong gene may serologically be P1 negative kung meron sila ng Lutheran genotype na to. Then for the laboratory setting, a critical factor for blood bank technologies is that yung mga P1 antigen deteriorates at storage. So, ibig sabihin, kung nilagay mo to sa storage for a longer period of time, pwede tayo magkaroon ng false negative result. Kung gagamit tayo ng older reagent or kung matagal nating na-store yung patient sample. Okay? Next, the Luc, no? Luc antigen or the LKE. So, in 1965, an investigator named Pipet described an antibody that is found in serum of a patient with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, this antibody allowed the population to be divided into 3 distinct groups. So, we have the Luc positive, 84%, Luc W, ibig sabihin, ito po yung mga weak positive na reaction, 14%, and then we have the Luc negative, which is very rare, only 2%. They lack the antigen entirely. So, While the look antigen is phenotypically related to the P system because of the specific reactivity patterns, no, with other P phenotype, the look antibody react with all red blood cells except for the 2% common P1 and P2 phenotypes. So, ang most significant, no, individuals with rare small p and PK phenotype are always, anong tawag natin? Look negative. Naintindihan? Look negative. So, ano ba yung mga disease association ng look antigen? Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay? Hodgkin's lymphoma. And then for the inheritance, like other antigen in the P system, yung expression nito is tied with complex carbohydrate branching pathway on the RBC membrane. Okay. Now, ito naman yung mga disease association. So, anti-P1 are classically associated with parasitic infection, anti-P1 PK, and anti-P. These antibodies are clinically significant in pregnancy as they are associated with early abortion. Yung auto-anti-P naman, this is the hallmark antibody para sa PCH or yung tinatawag natin na paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria. Okay, and then for the antigens naman, the antigens are functioning as receptors. Receptor siya against specific pathogen, katulad ng PK antigen. Receptor siya para sa Shiga toxin. Okay, if you're familiar with Shigella, okay, di ba meron siyang iba't ibang Shiga toxin. Receptor din to for E. coli, Escherichia coli. That is often associated with hemolytic disease of hemolytic uremic syndrome or the HUS. And then this also provides protection, tandaan, against HIV infection. On the other hand, ang P antigen naman nagiging receptor ng parvovirus B19. Okay? So, punta na tayo sa MNS. Meron na kayong handout nito, di po ba? Na-post ko na po ito sa Google Drive ninyo. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the last blood group system for today's discussion, the MNS blood group system. So, this blood group system is a complex system that is discovered shortly after the ABO. No, shortly after the ABO. And notable siya kasi maraming antigen associated dito. Okay? So, we have the MN antigen that was discovered in 1927. Okay? NMN. And then, yung S naman is discovered in 1947, capital S. Yung small letter S naman was discovered in 1951. Okay? So, yung M and N antigen was discovered by Landsteiner and Levine, wherein yung small s and capital S was discovered by Walsh and Montgomery. So, ilan po ba yung antigen na pinag-uusapan natin dito? 46 antigen. So, most of these are low prevalence antigens naman. No? Low prevalence antigen. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman commonly found sa general population. Okay? So, often nadidiscover natin itong mga low prevalence antigen na to kapag may mga cases ng incompatible cross-matching o kaya merong hemolytic disease of the newborn. Okay? So, sa anong chromosome sila? The encoding for the MNS system are located in chromosome number 4. Okay? Chromosome number 4. And then, meron din tayong tinatawag na U antigen. Okay, ano naman po itong U antigen na to? Okay, U antigen. So, this U refers to universal. Okay, U refers to universal. So, this is a highly prevalent antigen. I repeat, highly prevalent antigen, which is named by Weiner in 1953. Okay? Then, this is located sa glycophorin B. Glycophorin B. Okay? And meron tayong tinatawag na U-negative phenotype. Ano yung U-negative phenotype? Rare lang po itong phenotype na to. Deficiency sa parehas na glycophorin A and glycophorin B. So itong U-negative RBC na to are also negative sa capital S at sa small letter s. So tinatype natin siya phenotypically as S, capital S negative, small s negative, and capital U negative. So kambal po yan. Pag wala yung U antigen, wala ring S, capital, and small. Okay? So let's move on to the haplotypes. Okay? Common in white. So this haplotype vary between ethnic groups. So ito lang po yung nakikita natin sa white population, common haplotype, follows in the order capital NS is more than your capital M, small letter s, is more than your capital M, capital S, and more than your capital N, capital S phenotype. Okay? So isa-isahin po natin yung mga antigens na yan. Sorry. Isa-isahin natin yung mga antigens na yan. MNS, okay, capital S and small letter s. So, biochemical structure and laboratory characteristic of the MN antigen within the MNS blood group system will be discussed here. So, for the location ng MN antigen, makikita po natin sa glycophorin A, okay, or your GPA. Yan, GPA, which is the major sialic rich glycoprotein, okay, sa red blood cell membrane natin. Again, the GPA is the major sialic acid-rich glycoprotein in our RBC membrane. So for the amino acid determinant, yung specificity ng M versus ng N is determined by amino acid residues sa position 1 and 5 ng glycoprotein chain. Katulad halimbawa, kung M na makikita natin sa position 1 ay serine. Tapos sa position 5, makikita natin ang glycine. Sa N, on the other hand, sa position 1, leucine. Sa position 5, glutamic acid. Okay? So there are approximately 10 raised to 6, okay, 10 raised to 6 copies of GPA per RBC. And unlike some other system, these are well-developed at birth. I repeat, well-developed at birth. Kadalasan kasi, di ba, poorly developed at birth, yung mga ibang antigens natin. Okay, so understanding how this antigen respond to chemical treatment, very important for antibody identification. So una, ang MN antigen are easily destroyed by proteolytic enzyme katulad ng phycin, papain, bromelain, trypsin, and pronase. So they are destroyed by ZZAP. Ano yung ZZAP? Combination po yan ng dithiotretol, papain, or phycin. Okay? So they are not affected naman, they are resistant by DTP alone. Okay? Also by AET or your alpha, okay, chymotrypsin, okay, and also chloroquinone, glycine acid EGCA. So ano ba yung role ng sialic acid? So yung treatment ng RBC with neuraminidase will cleave the sialic acid from the membrane. So na-abolish yung reactivity ng antigen pag natanggal na yung sialic acid. Remember, nasa glycophorin A sila, which is rich in sialic acid. Okay, and then we have a rare phenotype, the ENA negative phenotype that is characterized by the lack of MN glycoprotein. Okay, so next, let's move on to your S, okay, capital S and small letter s. Ito naman, on the other hand, makikita natin sa glycophorin B or your GPB. So, ang amino acid determination naman nito, so sa position 29. So, yung capital S, ang makikita natin, methionine. Sa small letter S, sa position 29, ang makikita natin ay threonine. Okay? So, there are approximately 200,000 copies of GPA per RBC. Additionally, there are 1.5 times more copies of GPB. Okay? On S positive, capital S positive, small letter S, capital S negative, S ulit. Okay, I repeat. There are approximately 200,000 copies ng GPA per RBC, di ba? Additionally, there are 1.5 times copies ng GPB. Okay, GPB sa positive capital S and negative small letter S compared sa mga negative capital S at positive small s na RBCs. So like MN antigen, they are also, the capital S and small letter S are also well developed at birth. Okay? So the S, capital S and small letter S antigen, they behave differently, no, with your MN antigen. So yung destruction by fisin, papain, pronase, and chymotrypsin, variable yan. Okay? And may depend on the enzyme strength. That may also depend on the treatment length and even enzyme to cell ratio. But in terms of resistance, hindi sila madaling masisira ng trypsin, DTT, AET, chloroquine, and glycine EDTA. Okay, then we also have a variant antigen. We call it the capital M small letter I. It is identified as an abnormal form of your SS glycoprotein. Okay, next, let's move on to the genetics. No, the MNS system is complex because it involves two closely linked genes. Okay, which is your GYPA and GYPB, which are both located on chromosome number 4. Chromosome number 4 specifically in the long arm 2831. So yung GYPA, that is encoding of course for your GPA, glycophorin A. Yung GYPB, nag-e-encode naman sa GPB or your glycophorin B. I repeat, yung GBA or GPA, eto po yung nagkikerry ng MN. And then, ang GPB, yung nagkikerry ng SS. Okay? And also, U antigen. So, ang inheritance po nito ay codominance. Ano ibig sabihin ulit ng codominance? These genes meaning are inherited in different allele, but both, if inherited, will be expressed in your red cell. As long as na inherit mo siya, no, kahit dalawa yan, parehas yon ay ma-express mo. Naintindihan? Parang yung APO. So, let's talk about the U antigen. Again, ang ibig sabihin ng U, universal. So, kasi nga makikita natin to sa lahat, halos ng population. Actually, 100% ng population, no? So, saan natin makikita ang U? Sa GPB molecule. Very close to your RBC membrane. So, if a person has the S, capital and small, they must also have the U antigen. So, nabanggit ko na kanina yung U-negative phenotype. Rare po yan, primarily found sa African. Okay? African aborigin or African descent. And ang mechanism ng development po nito results from the complete deletion of the GYPB gene. So, ibig sabihin, wala kang U kung wala kang GYPB. Kasi doon mo siya makikita, di ba? Okay? So, yung U-negative, ano nga po ulit ang phenotype? Capital S negative, small letter S negative, and U-negative. Okay? So, because yung mga individual, wala silang U antigen, hindi rin sila magde-develop magde-develop sila ng anti-U. Okay? If exposed to U positive blood via transfusion or even via pregnancy. Okay? Next, anti-U antibodies. Okay? Anti-U antibodies. So, tandaan, clinically significant ang anti-U antibody ha. Bakit? Kasi this is an IgG antibody. So kung IgG ang anti-U, ano ibig sabihin? This can cause HDFN. Ibig sabihin, pwede po siyang mag-cross ng placenta. And it can cause fatal hemolytic transfusion reaction. So unlike the M and N, which are destroyed by enzyme, yung U antigen, resistant yan sa mga proteolytic enzyme. Okay? So like thysin and papain, because it sits close to your RBC membrane. And then we have the anti-U antibody. Okay? Anti-U antibodies. So ang anti-U, the U variant pala. U variant, this individual have altered GPB. Okay? GPB molecule. So they test negative. They will not express the S, okay, capital and small, okay, and will appear to be U negative. So di ba laging magkasama si S tsaka si U? Okay? So however, they may still react with weakly anti-U through specialized techniques katulad ng adsorption and elution. So indicating weak version to, no, ng antigen. Weak version ng U antigen, yung U variant natin. Okay, and then we have the ENA negative phenotype. So this is also within the MNS blood group system, which is a rare condition characterized by the complete absence naman of the GPA. Wala naman po yung glycophorin A. So, yung glycophorin B, hindi po affected. Okay? So, for the individuals with this phenotype, they lack the glycophorin A entirely. Though, I repeat, yung glycophorin B will remain unaffected. So, because the GPA is missing, ibig sabihin MN negative. Right? Kasi dyan po nakalagay yung ating MNN antigen. So, this individual can produce the anti-ENA, an antibody directed against the GPA. So, we have specificities, no, for the antibody. So, we have 3 categorization based on the secretion, based on the section of the GPA molecule that it recognizes, and then based also on the sensitivity of 2 enzymes. So we have the anti-ENATS. It recognizes the trypsin sensitive area on the GPA, specifically amino acid 20 to 39. The anti-ENAFS, which is recognizing a thysin sensitive area on your GPA, that is amino acid 46 to 56. And then we have the anti-ENAFR, recognizes the thysin resistant area in your GPA. That is found between amino acid 62 to 72. Tapos may mga genetic variants din ito ha. So, there are 2 specific or genetic report ng ganitong phenotype. So, we have the ENA negative FIN and the ENA negative UK. Yung FIN, it is found sa Finnish reports. Okay? Ibig sabihin, that result from the homozygosity of a rare gene deletion of the GYPA locus. And then, yung UK naman, it is found in English report, results from the heterogeneity for a hybrid gene combination with very rare MK gene. Okay? And then, let's have the MK phenotype. So, ang MK phenotype represents most extreme deficiency within the MNS blood group system. Okay? So, ito po yung tinatawag natin na null phenotype ng MNSS blood group system. Okay? So, individual na may ganitong phenotype, wala lahat silang antigen. associated with the MNS blood group system. Individuals, no, with this phenotype lack all antigen associated with glycophorin A and glycophorin B, resulting into anong phenotype? So MNSSUENAWR negative. So gene deletion. Okay, the MK gene is nearly or completely deleted. So wala kang GYPA, wala kang GYPB location. So also there is reduction in sialic acid. Okay, so because GPA and GPB are primary carriers of sialic acid on the red blood cell, so yung tinatawag nating MK-MK phenotype result in decreased RBC sialic acid content. So to potentially compensate for the lack of the glycophorin A and B, there is increased glycosylation of RBC, of other RBC membrane protein, katulad ng band 3 at saka ng band 4.1. Okay, so let's move on to the antibodies. Okay, so we have the anti-M and the anti-N. Okay, these antibodies are primarily known for being cold reacting kasi nga po IgM. Okay, and for the other antibody class, meron din namang IgG. Okay, mostly are IgM but some are IgG. Naturally occurring po ito ha, cold reactive sa line agglutinins, but they do not bind complement. Okay, do not bind, complement, or react with enzyme-treated cells. Okay, and then ang tatandaan ninyo for the anti-M and anti-N, sinabi ko kanina, they do not react with enzyme-treated cells because the MN antigen are destroyed by enzymes. Okay? And then, these antibodies exhibit yung tinatawag nating dosage effect. Ano yun? They react more strongly with homozygous cells, okay, than heterozygous cells. I repeat, more strongly reacting with homozygous. Halimbawa, kung M positive, N negative, they will react more with this compared with heterozygous M positive, N positive. Clear? Yan tinatawag nating dosage effect. They are typically not clinically significant unless they will react at 37 degrees Celsius. If they only react at room temperature or below, they are usually ignored. Okay? And then let's proceed to your anti-M. Some examples are pH dependent, no, showing optimal reactivity only at 6.5 na pH. Tapos, because of this pH preference, the reaction of anti-M can be enhanced by, of course, acidification. Okay, acidification. And then anti-N naman, on the other hand, makikita natin to sa mga renal patients. Specific form called the anti-NF. Ano yung anti-NF? That is a formaldehyde link. Okay? So this occurs when patients are dialyzed using equipment sterilized with formaldehyde. So like standard anti-capital N, ito namang variant na to ay cold reacting IgM or IgG. Okay? So let's move on to your anti-S. So counterparts ito ng anti-M at anti-N. Okay? But carry much higher significance. Mostly IgG in nature, reacting at 37 degrees Celsius. Okay? And can react as well during the anti-globin or AHG phase ng testing. So meron din silang dosage effect like other antibody ng MNS system, they can exhibit dosage effect. Ibig sabihin, nagre-react more kapag homozygous, halimbawa, capital S positive, small s negative, than heterozygous na S positive, S positive. So these antibodies are considered more clinically significant. I repeat, more clinically significant than anti-M or anti-N for several reasons. Bakit? Number one, they can bind complement. Okay? Pangalawa, they have been associated with HDN and HTR, hemolytic disease of the newborn and hemolytic transfusion reaction. So in the laboratory, yung reactivity ng anti-S and both capital and small with enzyme-treated cells, variable yon compared sa MNN antigen, di ba? So they may or may not react with enzyme-treated cells. So this inconsistency will depend on the extent of the treatment and the specific efficiency ng enzymes natin. Okay, ang ginagamit kadalasan natin, Ficin or Papain. Okay? And then finally, last slide na po natin for today, yung incidence. So the distribution of antigen varies significantly across different populations. Yung MN antigen, the heterozygous form, MN phenotype, 50% ng population. Yung M occurs in 30% and yung N in 20%. Ang SS antigens naman, the capital S has an incidence of 55 while the small letter S, 45 naman. Yung U, no, common among black, U negative, U positive are common among white. So ito naman yung mga disease association, the glycophorin A and B that carry these antigens also serve as receptor for certain pathogen. Katulad halimbawa ng GPA-M, no? Act as specific receptor for pyelonephroto-genic strain ng E. coli. Ang GPA at GPB naman are utilized by parasites Plasmodium falciparum to facilitate red cell invasion. Sa malaria naman po. Okay? So, we're now ending our discussion with the Lewis, IP, and MNS. So, question lang po, kailan po ang meeting ninyo ngayong linggo ng on-site for BP?